Everybody wants to buy their first starter home and then rent it out and move into their next home and build generational wealth. Well, I did that. It's been 2 years, and let me tell you exactly what I made or lost. So the house was rented out for $2,000 a month for 18 months. So that's $36,000 in rental income. The mortgage was $1,500 a month. So making $500 a month there.
And this is where a lot of people get fooled. Making a few $100s a month sounds good until one repair, one vacancy, or one bad tenant situation. So just because property cash flows a little bit does not mean that it's an automatically great investment.
So that cost me $27,000 a month. I spent $1,000 on tree work. I spent $600 on repairing the AC unit one time.
This is another part that people tend to forget. When you become a landlord, you are now responsible for that property. If something breaks and you don't have a property manager, you are now the one that's taking care of the calls, finding the contractors, paying that bill, and ultimately dealing with the problem.
And then the tenant lost their job and stopped paying me rent. So I paid the mortgage twice without any rental income. That cost me $3,000.
This right here is one of the biggest lessons in the entire video. When you rent out a property, no matter who you rent it to, you still have to treat it like a business, even if it's somebody that you know. Because if they stop paying the mortgage, it's still due. I recommend to anybody, even if it's a friend, do a proper screening, verify the income, check the credit, look at the payment history, make sure that you do that so you're protected right from the beginning. The goal is not to just fill the property, but to place the right tenant in the house and lower the chances of problems later on.
The dogs pooped and peed all over the floors and ruined them in the whole house. So refinishing all the hardwood floors was $3,000. The paint had to be, I repainted the house because the smell was so horrendous that I just had to. That was $3,000. The yard was destroyed because the dogs ruined the grass and made it a giant mud pit. And the guy never raked the leaves or did anything. So that was $1,400. And then I had to pay him $500 cash for keys to get out of my house so I could get somebody in there who was going to pay me rent.
And this part hurts a lot of landlords, not thinking about the next tenant that's coming in, right? Because now you have to possibly repaint all the walls, clean up the house again, and get it ready for the next tenant. This is why rental income is not the same as pure profit, right? You have to keep into account all the things that you have to pay for as well.
So all in all, that's $39,500 in expenses for a loss of $3,500. However, over that period of time, $9,000 in principal on the mortgage was paid off.
So this part is so important too. Even though his cash flow was rough from the start, part of that rent did go toward the mortgage and the principal, and he did build equity over time. So when you look at rentals, you have to look at more than just the monthly cash flow. You gotta have like an appreciation mindset. If you're a smart investor though, you want to be conservative. You want to think about appreciation over the next couple of years, not just 1 year. Because ultimately you don't want to rely your whole entire plan on the best case scenario.
So that could balance it out, but unfortunately the house has decreased in value by about $10K.